This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. Nope. Not doing a birthday boy. Nope. I'm doing a birthday girl. Yep. So, the birthday girl for October 18th is a Czech tennis player who fled to the U.S. She's one of the greatest tennis players of all time, winning 18 majors in singles, 31 women's doubles, and 10 mixed doubles for a combined 59, the most in the open era by anybody, male or female. She was dominant in the 70s and 80s. She was number one in the world 332 weeks, only second to Steffi Graf. But 237 weeks, she was one of the best doubles players, which is hard because, singles players don't usually play doubles as much. She actually reached the WImbledon singles final 12 times, including a streak of 9 straight from 82 to 90, and winning the title overall 9 times. So Navaritlova, alongside Margaret Smith Court and Doris Hart, has a career Grand Slam in singles, women's doubles, and mixed doubles called the career box set. No male has ever done that. She won her last major title before her 50th birthday at the 2006 US Open, which is amazing. 32 years after winning her first major title in 1974. She was Czech, but then she asked the U.S. for political asylum and became a U.S. citizen in 1981. But in 2008, she acquired Czech citizenship. It was not politically motivated. Navaritlova has actually been openly lesbian since 1981. And of course, it is Martina Navratilova, who's now 66 years old. Can't believe it. I thought she was like 80. That's just me. So Navratilova was born in Prague, Czechoslovakia. Her last name was Sebertova, but after her mother married somebody, she took the name of her stepfather, which was Navratilova, but put the ova suffix, the feminine suffix, in Navratilova. She actually has a younger sister, Yana, and an older paternal half-brother. Anyway, she was good with the Czechs and all that. Anyway, she had an early career. She was 17 years old when she won her first professional title in Orlando. Anyway, Navratilova, at age 17, was actually the runner-up in the 75 Australian Open and French Open. Loses the Australian to Yvonne Gougoulan. And the French Open to Chris Evert. Of course, that would be the big rivalry between Evert and Navratilova, which actually led to a 30 for 30 for ESPN. Anyway, she lost the semis in September 75 to Everett, and she actually went to the offices of the Immigration and Naturalization Service to defect from communist Czechoslovakia. She received a green card, and in 1981 she was a U.S. citizen, taking the 5-year deal. Navratilova would win the French Open women's doubles, surprisingly, with Chris Evert, who was supposed to be her rival. And they won the 76 women's doubles over Billie Jean King and Betty Stove. So anyway, Navratilova's first major singles title was 1978 at Wimbledon, taking down Chris Evert in 3 sets, making her the number 1 ranking. In 79, she would defend the Wimbledon title, beating Evert in straight sets. Anyway, it was amazing and all that. Navratilova would work with Nancy Lieberman, a prominent women's basketball player, to improve her fitness and toughen her mental approach to better compete with Everett and get her true potential. And it worked. In 1981, she won the Australian Open final against Everett. She got to the finals at the US Open, but lost to Tracy Austin. But Navratilova didn't let anything ruin her. In 1982, she won Wimbledon and the French Open, so she looked pretty good. Even though she lost in the 4th round in 83 at the French Open, she would then win the last 3 remaining titles. the Wimbledon, US, and Australian Open. Now, at the time, before, I believe 1987 was the, or was it 87 or 88, the first time Australia had the Australian Open in January instead of December. Anyway, the weird thing is Navratilova lost at the French Open was her only singles defeat. So she was 86-1. I don't know who took her out, but anyhow, maybe Everett. It was just amazing. But from 82 to 84, she only lost 6 matches as singles. That's amazing. And that included 13 straight wins over Chris Everett. Navratilova's reign from 82 to 86 will never be repeated. I mean, you could say Federer or Nadal or Djokovic had dominance like that. Yeah, they did, but not like Navratilova. Remember, one woman was taking over all the tennis world, whereas with the guys, there was just 3 of them. Anyway, Navratilova won the 84 French Open, which meant she got the career Grand Slam, and it was actually declared a Grand Slam, but it was not a true Grand Slam. It was just consecutively. She would win Wimbledon and the US Open again, so she had won 6 straight majors. Sadly, though, she lost the semifinal to Helena Sukova. Navratilova had a 74-match winning streak, which was pretty good. Yeah, in 1984, she was just dominant. But Navratilova completed the calendar Grand Slam in women's doubles in 84, partnering Pam Shriver. You know her from ESPN stuff. So Navratilova and Shriver would win 109 straight matches as a pair, which is amazing and all that. It's weird how Navratilova could be good at doubles and singles. From 85 to 87, she actually went through 11 straight women's singles finals, winning 6 of them. So, for dominance, from 82 to 1990, she reached the Wimbledon final every year. The US Open, she did that consecutive years from 83 to 87, and the French Open, 5 out of 6 years from 82 to 87. Some say that Navratilova's match against Chris Everett in 1985 at the French Open final is one of the greatest of all time. I doubt that highly. Navratilova was actually down 4-2 in the second set. Remember, in women's play, it's best of 3 sets, not best of 5. So she was down 3-6, 2-5. She made it 5-5, and then it looked like Everett won a match point 7-5 in the third set. This was huge. Everett was back to herself. Navratilova would deal with Steffi Graf now as a rivalry, so that was huge. From Everett to Graf. It was just amazing what Navratilova could do. Navratilova made all 4 Grand Slam finals in 87, winning 2 of them. So, yeah, Navratilova looked good against Graf in the Wimbledon and US Open, and the French Open, too. Well, the French Open was Graf's. Graf only lost twice in 1987. That was both times to Navratilova, so that was amazing. But Steffi Graf would win the Grand Slam in 1988, or the Golden Slam if you want to count the Olympics. It was just amazing. Navratilova only made 1 final in 1988 in the singles, losing to Graf in the Wimbledon final. Graf would win their matchups in the Wimbledon and US Open in 1989, so Navratilova just can't believe it. Navratilova did win the semis of the 91 US Open to beat Graf. Anyway, her final Grand Slam singles title was in 1990. She was 33 years old, and she swept aside Sina Garrison 6-4, 6-1. She didn't take part in Australia or France, which was shocking, but she was still number 3 in the world. And in 1992, in a one-match thing at Caesar Palace, she would face Jimmy Connors in the Battle of the Sexes. Connors was only allowed 1 serve per point, and Navratilova was allowed to hit into the doubles court. Connors won that match. Anyway, she got to the 91 US Open final, losing to Monica Seles. And in 94, she reached Wimbledon, losing to Conchita Martinez. It would have been nice if Martina had won that thing. She would retire from full-time competition on the singles tour in November '94. However, she would come back in 2000 to play doubles, rarely playing singles. She ended up winning the mixed doubles in 2003 titles with the man from India, Leandro Paes, which made her the oldest ever major champion. Navaratilova went to singles in the 2004 French Open, which was shocking, and was criticized for receiving a wild card, but lost in the first round. Well, she lost the first round to Gisela Dulko, and then she went back to Wimbledon and beat Catalina Castano. At 47 years, 8 months old, she was the oldest player to win a professional singles match in the Open era. But she lost to Dulko. Her last matches at Wimbledon were July 6, 2006, both times. In doubles, she was with Liesl Huber. Women's doubles lost the quarterfinals to Yan Chi and Jane G. And then with Mark Knowles losing the mixed doubles to Andy Ram and Fer Svanova. So yeah, she would play doubles. She won the mixed doubles at the 2006 US Open with Bob Bryan, who was a great doubles player alongside his brother Mike Bryan. I still too. She actually won August 2006 at the Rogers Cup in Montreal in women's doubles, partnering with Nadia Petrova. Navaratilova, unfortunately, would only win 18 major single titles. I mean, it's good, but Serena Williams and Margaret Smith Court will beg to differ. Navaratilova won 9 Wimbledon titles, 4 US Opens, 3 Australian Open, and 2 French Opens. So, yeah, she did pretty well herself. She released an autobiography in 1985 called Martina. She would write mystery novels and a tennis instruction book. Yep, ESPN did the rivalry with Chris Evert unmatched. And of course, there were rumors about Navaritilova's sexuality. In 1981, Navaratilova gave an interview to a sports reporter coming out as bisexual, and she had a sexual relationship with Rita Mae Brown. And didn't want the article to be published until she was ready to come out publicly, but they've bypassed it. Navaratilova had a relationship with Nancy Lieberman for some strange reason. As Navaratilova said, she was bisexual and Lieberman was straight, but that didn't happen. Navaratilova, from 84 to 91, had a long-term relationship with Judy Nelson, who she met at a tournament at Fort Worth. And it was weird how Judy Nelson was married with 2 children at the time. Of course, that would end with a palimony lawsuit. And Navaratilova married her longtime girlfriend, a former Miss USSR, Julia Lemkova, in 2014. Navaratilova actually started wearing glasses as far back as 1985 because her eyesight had deteriorated. And a few tennis players wore sunglasses regularly for tennis, and Navaratilova was one of them. Glasses have been iconic. She was tested for breast cancer and had a tumor removed in 2010. She was known for her gay rights and all of that, and transgender athletes. So, yeah, her 18 Grand Slam titles. 78 Wimbledon, 79 Wimbledon, 81 Australian Open, 82 French Open, 82 Wimbledon, 83 Wimbledon, 83 US Open, 83 Australian Open, 84 French Open, 84 Wimbledon, 84 US, 85 Wimbledon, 85 Australian, 86 Wimbledon, 86 US Open, 87 Wimbledon, 87 US Open, and 1990 Wimbledon. So she's just a freaking genius and all of that. So yeah, she was actually on Dancing with the Stars is the 14th season, but was the first person eliminated. So yeah, she did a lot of things and all that. So yeah, so she's written some books. Whoopee. But anyway, yeah, Martina Navratilova is an icon, especially in London at Wimbledon. I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.